The Silent Guardian. The grand assembly hall of the Galactic conquered hummed with the voices of 100 different species. Massive holographic displays showed resource allocations, trade routes, and disputed territories across 12 spiral arms. In the tiered seating, representatives from the 7 dominant civilizations occupied the central positions. The noble Assyrians with their crystalline exoskeletons, the collective consciousness of the HFY swarms, the cold and calculating Vexari, with their obsidian skin, and 4 others who had carved up the known galaxy between them. Humans sat in the outer ring, alongside 40 other developing species. For 2 centuries since first contact, humanity had been relegated to the fringes of galactic politics, tolerated, occasionally exploited, but never truly respected. Earth held only 3 colonial systems, permitted to expand at a glacial pace, while the major powers claimed entire sectors in territorial grabs thinly disguised as protective annexations. Ambassador Chen Wei of Earth sat quietly, stylus flickering over her datapad as the Vexari representative, High Commander Zorix, described the latest peacekeeping operation that had conveniently secured 3 resource-rich planets for his empire. His obsidian face reflected the light as he spoke, mandibles clicking in what passed for smug satisfaction. "The primitive inhabitants clearly required our guidance," Zorix declared. "The Vexari Empire has generously taken these systems under our protection." The HFY representative vibrated in what might have been disagreement, but said nothing. No one challenged the Vexari anymore, not since they had obliterated the homeworld of the last species that tried. Chen's communication implant buzzed. The message was simple. It's time. She allowed herself the smallest of smiles. The massive chamber's lighting suddenly flickered. The holographic displays shimmered and froze. Every representative's personal device went dark simultaneously. "Security. Breach," called the Ashurian moderator, his crystalline form reflecting panicked light patterns. Before anyone could respond, the central holographic display reactivated, showing a real-time image from high orbit above the neutral diplomatic station. Against the velvet blackness of space, a ship appeared through what looked like a tear in reality itself. The chamber fell absolutely silent. The vessel was unmistakably human in design, but unlike anything seen before. Sleek and midnight black, it stretched nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern. Its hull featured no visible seams or panel lines, just a perfect, uninterrupted surface that seemed to devour light rather than reflect it. 6 massive drive nodes pulsed with blue-white energy at its stern, and along its flanks recessed weapon ports glinted with potential. "What is the meaning of this?" The Vexari commander was the first to recover, mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation as he turned toward Ambassador Chen. She stood smoothing her formal diplomatic coat. "The United Earth government introduces the UES Horizon, the first vessel of Earth's Guardian-class deep space fleet." "Impossible," hissed a HFY representative, their composite voice vibrating through the chamber. "Human technology is generations behind such capabilities." "Was," Chen corrected. "We've been selective about what advancements we've shared with the conquered. The real shock wasn't just the ship's size, the Vexari built larger, but what the scanning data was telling the assembled representatives. Their personal devices had reactivated, and the information flooding in was causing visible distress across multiple species." The Ashurian moderator's crystalline form flickered with patterns of disbelief. "These readings cannot be accurate. This vessel has no conventional drive signature." "Correct," Chen said. "The Horizon utilizes a dimensional slip-space propulsion system. We've solved the Ehrenfest paradox." A low murmur swept through the chamber. The implications were staggering. Faster-than-light travel existed throughout the galaxy, but it was cumbersome, requiring massive energy expenditure and complex navigational calculations. What the humans were claiming would revolutionize interstellar travel and warfare. And, "Those are not standard weapon emplacements," the Vexari commander added, mandibles now completely still, a sign of intense focus among his kind. "Also correct," Chen said. "The Horizon carries 48 variable yield fusion lances and a spinal-mounted gravitational displacement cannon." Another wave of shocked whispers. Such weapons had been theorized but never successfully developed. The power requirements alone would be astronomical. The HFY collective buzzed in unified agitation. This violates 17 different Concord treaties on weapons development and deployment. Treaties that have been broken by major powers 26 times in the last decade, Chen countered smoothly. With no consequences, the UEG has simply ensured we have the means to protect our interests. At that moment, a new figure appeared on the central display. A woman in a midnight blue uniform with 4 silver stars on each collar. Her brown skin was weathered by years under distant suns, and her dark eyes held the steady confidence of someone who had seen conflict and emerged unbroken. "This is Captain Elena Reyes of the UES Horizon," she announced, her voice carrying the natural authority of command. "We come in peace, but we are prepared for any eventuality." In the profound silence that followed, Ambassador Chen continued, "For too long, humanity has been dismissed as insignificant. Our colonies have been raided, our resources exploited, our diplomatic concerns ignored. Today, that changes." Commander Zorix rose to his full height, nearly 3 meters of obsidian. Fury. "Is this a threat, Ambassador?" "Not at all," Chen replied. "Earth has no territorial ambitions beyond our existing claims. We have no desire for conflict." She allowed herself a small, tight smile. "But neither will we continue to be treated as lesser members of this Concord. The Vexari Empire does not respond well to intimidation," Zorix growled. "Nor do we," Chen replied. "Consider this a simple adjustment of expectations." The enormous vessel outside remained motionless, a silent statement more powerful than any fleet demonstration or military parade. Its very existence challenged centuries of established hierarchy. On the bridge of the horizon, Captain Reyes watched the diplomatic feed with her executive officer, Commander Sanjay Patel. "They're scared," Patel observed. "Good," Reyes replied. "Fear is a universal language, but we don't want terror, just respect." Her gaze drifted to the tactical display, where numerous vessels were already moving to position themselves at what they considered safe distances. Little did they know that the horizon's capabilities extended far beyond what Earth had revealed. "Captain," her communications officer called, "we're receiving approach requests from 17 different diplomatic vessels. Everyone wants a closer look. Maintain safety protocols. Allow observed approaches on a scheduled basis," Reyes ordered. "And prepare for possible provocations. The Vexari, in particular, don't take challenges to their status well." Back in the assembly chamber, the Assyrian moderator was attempting to restore order as heated debates erupted throughout the hall. Species that had long been silent were suddenly vocal, seeing an opportunity in this disruption of the power balance. Ambassador Chen returned to her seat, ignoring the stares from all sides. Her communication implant buzzed again with a message from Earth Command. Phase 1 complete, stand by for further instructions. The true test would come soon enough. Humanity had revealed its hand, but not all of its cards. The horizon was impressive, but it was only the beginning. As the day progressed, delegations approached the Earth representatives with new trade proposals, security cooperation offers, and diplomatic overtures. Species that had barely acknowledged human existence now sought audience with Ambassador Chen. The political landscape was shifting by the hour. Commander Zorix cornered Chen as she left the chamber. "Your demonstration changes nothing," he hissed, mandibles clicking slowly. "One ship, no matter how advanced, cannot protect all your interests. The Vexari have dominated space for millennia." Chen met his compound eyes without flinching. "The difference between us, Commander, is that humans don't seek to dominate. We only wish to live free from domination. A philosophical distinction that will bring you little comfort when reality asserts itself," Zorix replied. "The galaxy respects power, not principles." "Then perhaps it's time someone taught the galaxy a different lesson," Chen said. As Zorix stalked away, Chen couldn't dismiss his implied threat. The Vexari had maintained their position through ruthless application of force. They wouldn't accept this challenge without response. Aboard the horizon, Captain Reyes received the intelligence analysis with growing concern. Vexari fleet movements suggested they were consolidating forces near the disputed Arcturus sector, close to one of Earth's most vulnerable colonies. They're planning something, Reyes told her senior staff. The question is whether they'll be direct or find some proxy to test our resolve. Commander Patel studied the tactical projections. Either way, we need to be ready. The horizon was built for more than just show. Reyes nodded grimly. Indeed, and I have a feeling we'll be demonstrating that sooner rather than later. The waiting game had begun. Earth had changed the rules, but the other players weren't about to leave the table. As the horizon maintained its silent vigil, the rest of the galaxy held its breath, wondering what would happen when the first move was finally made. The thunderous response. 3 days after the horizon's appearance, the attack came, not against Earth or its official colonies, but against Sanctuary, an independent settlement in the Arcturus sector housing refugees from a dozen different species. Although technically outside Earth's protection, many humans lived and worked there as part of humanitarian efforts. Captain Reyes was reviewing shield calibrations when the emergency signal arrived. The message was fragmented, distorted by jamming technology, but the panic was clear. Under attack, unknown vessels, civilian casualties, please, anyone. Lieutenant Zhang at Communications shook her head. Signal lost, Captain, but we've confirmed it originated from Sanctuary Station. Any identification on the attacking vessels? Reyes asked. Negative. They're using scrambler fields, but the attack pattern is consistent with Vexari strike tactics. Commander Patel entered the bridge, his expression grave. Earth Command is aware of the situation. They've authorized us to investigate, but caution against direct intervention without clear evidence of Vexari involvement. Reyes studied the star chart, calculating. Sanctuary is 4 hours away at conventional drive, 2 minutes using slip space. The diplomatic implications, Patel began, are significant, I know, Reyes finished, but so are the humanitarian ones. She straightened in her command chair. Helm, plot slip space trajectory to Sanctuary. Tactical, prepare defensive systems only. We go in silent, observe, then decide. Aye. Captain, came the unified response. Ambassador Chen was in the middle of negotiations with the Assyrian delegation when her aide whispered the news. She maintained her composure, but inwardly, she recognized the calculated nature of the attack. Sanctuary was perfect. Not officially Earth's responsibility, yet too connected to humanity for Earth to ignore. Is something wrong, Ambassador? Asked the Assyrian representative, crystalline form shifting in patterns of curiosity. A developing situation, Chen replied carefully. Perhaps we should continue this discussion later. As she exited, she noticed Commander Zorix watching from across the chamber, his obsidian face unreadable but his posture radiating satisfaction. He knew. The Vexari had found their perfect test. The horizon emerged from slip space at the edge of the Sanctuary system, immediately, engaging its advanced stealth systems. The scene that greeted them confirmed their worst fears. 3 vessels with Vexari design signatures surrounded the station, methodically targeting its defensive systems and life support hubs. The station itself was a sprawling structure built into a large asteroid, home to nearly 20,000 civilians. Portions were already venting atmosphere, and escape pods scattered in all directions, many being targeted by the attacking ships. Dear God, whispered Lieutenant Zhang. Record everything, Reyes ordered. Full spectrum analysis. I want irrefutable evidence that these are Vexari vessels despite their scrambler fields. Already confirmed, Captain, replied her tactical officer. Their energy signatures are unmistakable when analyzed through our quantum filters. These are Vexari Scythe-class destroyers. Reyes stood, her decision made. Broadcast on all frequencies, clear identification of the horizon. Inform the Vexari vessels that they are engaging in illegal actions against civilians and must stand down immediately. The response was predictable. All 3 Vexari ships immediately oriented toward the horizon, weapons charging. They've locked. Weapons on us, Captain, reported the tactical officer, his voice steady despite the implications. "Defensive systems only," Reyes reminded her crew. "Let them fire first." The Vexari didn't hesitate. 3 brilliant energy beams lanced across space toward the horizon. In any other vessel, evasive maneuvers would have been the only option. Instead, Reyes gave a different order. "Activate adaptive shield matrix." The space around the horizon shimmered as the beams struck, and then simply vanished, absorbed completely by the shield technology that had been Earth's most closely guarded secret. Silence fell across the bridge as the tactical display confirmed what had just happened. The horizon had taken a direct hit from 3 Vexari destroyers at full power, and showed no damage whatsoever. "Shield capacity at 97%, reported the systems officer, almost in disbelief despite months of training with the technology. Reyes allowed herself a small smile. "Now let's demonstrate why attacking civilians in our presence was a serious mistake. Target their weapon systems only. Precision strikes, minimal yield." 4 of the horizon's lateral weapon ports activated, emitting pinpoint beams of concentrated energy that struck each Vexari vessel with surgical precision. Their main weapon arrays exploded in cascading failures, leaving the ships intact, but effectively neutered. "Broadcast again," Reyes ordered. "Inform them that their vessels are now under our control via override protocols. Any attempt to activate self-destruct or secondary weapons will result in complete neutralization." This was another bluff. The Horizon couldn't actually control their systems, but the Vexari had no way of knowing that. The psychology of overwhelming technological superiority would make the claim believable. "Captain, we're receiving distress calls from the station," Zhang reported. "Critical systems failing throughout. Estimated survival time without assistance 40 minutes. Deploy emergency response teams and medical units," Reyes ordered, "and inform Earth Command of our actions." As the Horizon's shuttles raced toward the damaged station, news of the encounter spread across subspace communications. The Galactic Concord erupted in chaos as the footage, deliberately leaked by Earth intelligence, showed irrefutable evidence of Vexari aggression against civilians, followed by the Horizon's restrained but overwhelming response. Ambassador Chen entered an emergency session of the Concord with the bearing of someone who held all the cards. "The United Earth government wishes to formally charge the Vexari Empire with war crimes against the civilian population of Sanctuary," she announced, her voice carrying through the stunned chamber. Commander Zorix rose to object, but before he could speak, Chen activated a holographic display showing the attack in detail, including decoded communications proving Vexari command authorization. "The evidence has been provided to all representatives," Chen continued. "We also wish to note that while the Horizon successfully neutralized the threat, it did so with minimal force, targeting only weapon systems and making no attempt to destroy the Vexari vessels or personnel. This was a defensive action taken to protect innocent lives, not an act of war." The Assyrian moderator's crystalline form pulsed with patterns of grave concern. "These allegations are most serious. The Vexari delegation will have an opportunity to respond." Commander Zorix's mandibles clicked rapidly in barely controlled rage. "These recordings are fabrications. The Vexari Empire would never attack civilian targets without provocation. This is clearly an Earth plot to discredit us." "The recordings have been authenticated by 3 independent verification authorities," Chen countered smoothly. "Moreover, the Horizon rescued 16 Vexari crew members who have provided testimony, confirming their orders came directly from Vexari High Command." This was the moment Captain Reyes had prepared for. From the bridge of the Horizon, she addressed the Concord directly, her image projected in the chamber. "The United Earth government does not seek conflict with the Vexari Empire or any civilization," she stated firmly. "Our actions at Sanctuary were taken to protect innocent lives regardless of species. The Horizon's capabilities were revealed only as much as necessary to end the immediate threat." What she didn't mention was that the Horizon had used less than 10% of its actual combat capacity. The chamber erupted in overlapping questions and demands, with the Hivek and Assyrians particularly vocal. The carefully maintained power structure of centuries was crumbling before their eyes. Commander Zorix, sensing his position weakening, made a desperate play. If Earth wishes to protect its interests, it should be prepared to do so completely. One advanced vessel, no matter how impressive, cannot defend an entire civilization. The Vexari battle fleets number in the thousands. It was the threat everyone had been waiting for, and the opening Earth needed. Ambassador Chen's expression remained composed, but a new confidence entered her voice. We appreciate your concern for our defensive capabilities, Commander. Perhaps this might address your worries. The holographic display shifted to show real-time images from across the galaxy. One by one, tiers in space-time appeared near major conquered worlds, diplomatic stations, and strategic locations. From each emerged a vessel identical to the horizon, 15 in total, simultaneously revealing themselves at key points throughout known space. The chamber fell into absolute silence. The Guardian fleet stands ready to protect Earth's interests and those of our allies, Chen said into the silence. We have no territorial ambitions beyond our existing borders. We seek only peace, cooperation, and the end of exploitation. The implications were staggering. Earth hadn't built one revolutionary warship. They had constructed an entire fleet and deployed it in complete secrecy. Captain Reyes watched the diplomatic feed, noting the shock on alien faces of all species. Commander Patel stood beside her, arms folded. Think they got the message? He asked quietly. I believe so, Reyes replied. Though messages are only as good as the follow-through behind them. On the diplomatic station, the balance of power had shifted definitively. Already, representatives from previously marginalized species were approaching Ambassador Chen with alliance proposals. Even the Assyrians, who had long aligned with the Vexari, were reconsidering their position. Commander Zorix had disappeared from the chamber, presumably to consult with his government. The Vexari Empire would not fall overnight, but its era of unchallenged dominance had ended. 3 days later, as the Horizon maintained its position near Sanctuary, now joined by 2 sister ships, Captain Reyes received a direct communication request from an unexpected source, Commander Zorix himself. Captain, he began, mandibles carefully still in what humans had learned was a gesture of forced respect among his kind. The Vexari High Command wishes to express regret for the incident at Sanctuary. Rogue elements within our military have been identified and will be disciplined. It was a transparent fiction, but also a remarkable concession from the previously unyielding Vexari. I'm pleased to hear it, Commander, Reyes replied neutrally. Earth looks forward to peaceful relations with all galactic civilizations. Your technology, Zorix said, unable to contain his curiosity. It should not be possible at your civilization's development stage. Reyes allowed herself a small smile. Perhaps the Concord's assessment of human capabilities has been flawed. Perhaps, Zorix agreed reluctantly. The Vexari are adaptable. We recognize changing circumstances. As do we all, Reyes replied. As the communication ended, she gazed out at the stars visible through the horizon's viewports. Humanity had gambled everything on this moment, revealing capabilities they had hidden for decades, technologies developed in secret while presenting a facade of limitation to the galaxy at large. The gamble had paid off. Earth now had a seat at the table, not through conquest or aggression, but through the measured demonstration of power paired with restraint. It was a delicate balance that would require constant vigilance to maintain. New communication from Earth Command, Lieutenant Zhang announced. Operation Thunderbolt is complete. We're authorized to proceed with diplomatic initiatives and technological exchange programs with approved partners. The real work begins, Reyes murmured. Commander Patel nodded. Easier to gain respect than to maintain it. True, Reyes agreed. But for the first time since we ventured into the stars, we'll be doing so as equals, not supplicants. Across the galaxy, 15 identical vessels maintained their silent watch, a promise and a warning in equal measure. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same again. When Earth's warship appeared, no one had dared to move. Now everyone was moving toward a future where humanity's voice would finally be heard.